and welcome to my channel. I am Tammy Ozturk, the designer of badbobbin.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make the cash card zipper pouch. There's the tall version and there's the regular version, horizontal. And I'm going to show you how to put it all together. And it's just a great size. I designed it with this dimensions so that the cards will come in and out easy and not like the 4x4 when you're trying to shove it in there and just get it underneath. This actually is a little bit taller so that cards come in and out. And then also in the tall version as well, the cards slip really easy in and out. And it's just a really good size for your purse. And then there's also the version I will talk about at the end of the video about having your design and when the design part would come in while you're making the bag. And it's quite a really quick, easy, on a 1000 machine. It stitches out in about 3 to 4 minutes. It's just actually placing everything that takes a little bit of time. So let's get started. All right. These are the things we're going to need to make our little cash card zipper pouch. We have 2 different sizes. I cut each size to show. These are unlined, so we don't need a liner on these. And the same thing for like some of the 5x7, made exactly the same way without the liner. And then there is also the design with the liner. So I'm going to show you the small little pouches today. I like to prepare my D-ring. And it's up to you. You can make these pouches without the D-ring lobster claw, or you can make it with. I'm going to make it with to show it, but you can. It's an option to leave it out. I have scraps of my vinyl, and you want to make sure if it's a good vinyl. If this is like a marine vinyl, it's pretty sturdy and it's going to hold up. If it's some of the other lower quality vinyls that may not hold up, if they tear really easy, then you don't want to use a scrap piece for it. I use a gross grain ribbon. I have a bunch of different colors of this prepared and ready to go. And these are kind of simple. You don't have to do this. This is just what I do to prepare. I just use stick glue. I'll just glue it on one end. I'll slip it in the D-ring. So it's a 2" by 5/8. This is a 5/8 gross grain. And then I'll just take a clip. You can use a paper clip, or paper clip. You can use a clothespin. I use the little quilting clips. Same thing with the vinyl, and this is just to keep it from like unfolding while we're in the hoop. That's why I glue it. You don't have to. If it's not something you want to do, you can just fold it and tape it and put it in. This is just something that I have ready and prepared. And I use a clip, same thing. So it's just a little bit of glue on one end, and it's just stick glue, cheapy glue. It does hold, but I mean, it's not there to hold for use or anything. It's just there to hold it so that once I tape it, it's not going to try to pull up. So those are ready to go. I have set them aside. All right. So I have printed out and wrote my little notes, but there is a PDF with written out if you'd like. That could be printed out. And it also does have the sizes on this PDF if you print it out for both designs. The tall, which is 4.5 by 5, and the standard cash card zipper pouch is the 4.8 by 3.9. Okay, so you're going to have a 6" or more zipper. Some are more comfortable with a larger zipper. When I get to this point in the machine, I will show you how I place my zipper with this metal part inside if you're comfortable. If you're not, you don't need to, but it's minimum 6" zipper or more. And for the tall, we're going to have our back piece, which is our 5.5 by 6. And then our bottom of our front part, or below the zipper, is 5.5 by 5. And our piece above our zipper is going to be 1¼ inches. And that's for our tall. And then for our regular standard cash card pouch, my back part, my back piece is the 5¾ by 4¾ My piece below my zipper is 5¾ by 3¾ and then above my zipper is the 5¾ by 1 inch. All right. And you can adjust as you go through, like this one's really exaggerated, but you can always go, if you feel more comfortable, a little bit shorter on your pieces. That's fine. Up to you as you adjust, but these are like a general size for the best amount of vinyl used and the best when you're pricing it for how much square inch of vinyl you're using for the cost of it. And it's an average of 3 to 4 cents per square inch of vinyl. And then just our different cutting tools we're going to need: our straight ruler, lighter for singeing as usual, my little 4-inch curve, regular scissors, and then we're going to need our 5x7 hoop with a tearaway stabilizer in it. This happens to be the magnetic hoop. You can do it in any hoop. You just want to have the tearaway stabilizer. You can do a cutaway if you'd like, and that will end up like staying inside your pouch. Excuse me, but you don't have to use the cutaway. You can use the tearaway, tear it completely out, and you'll have just the backing of the vinyl inside your pouch. All right, so we're all ready to go, and I'll meet you over at the machine. All right, we're at our machine. We have our instructions and all our pieces that we need. My pattern is loaded into the machine already. And we're going to start with the first thing it'll stitch out is a placement line for where we need to put our zipper. All right, so I'm going to place my zipper with the teeth of the zipper, and it's going to be right exactly the teeth on this line in between these two. Now what I do is that little silver tab that's at the end of our zipper right here, this part of the tab I actually have on the inside of my bag so that when it unzips, it won't undo. I'll have a stop with the zipper. Some people are not comfortable with that. The more you do this, the more comfortable you can get with it, and you'll be able to do it this way. So I'm just inside the line enough that I know that the machine's not going to hit the metal piece. And I'm going to make sure it's centered and tape the ends. And then keep an eye on the teeth of the zipper that it's lining with the line down the center of our mark. And I'm going to tape the other end as well. Now on all my bags from Bad Bobbin, my zipper opens from the right side going to the left. My zipper pull and the tab is on the right side. And the reason why I do that, I have a theory of when you have your D-ring or your strap or anything on this side, your left side, as it hangs down, the zipper stays hung down. You have a little zipper pull on it and it dangles down. So that's my theory on that, of keeping the zipper downward so it doesn't pull open. And my design will stitch out this way and will not go across the zipper on the right side if you have your pull on the right side. So I'm going to put this back in the machine and we're going to tack down our zipper. And I'm going to put just a little bit of piece of tape on the top and bottom of my zipper that kind of keeps it in the center so it doesn't shift on me. All right, we've tacked down our zipper. It's all down. We're going to remove the tape. And I'm going to add my front pieces on the bottom and the top, and these both are added at the same time. And we're going to go ahead and tape that as well. And we're going to center that and butt it right up against the zipper. We'll tape each side down. And add the top piece to the top. All right. So the next step is going to be running across the zipper part. On the top, it's going to tack down at the zipper. It's also going to run a tack down and keep the whole piece down. And then it's going to do a little placement part for our D-ring. All right. We'll take our tape off. And we're going to tack down our D-ring lobster claw that we made. And I place it right where the end is on our placement line, which is by the zipper. I'm going to tape it down, just to keep it taped down. And then I'm also going to tape the hardware side down. That way it won't flip up on us or in the middle of stitching. There we go. And we'll put it back in the machine and we'll go ahead and tack down our D-ring lobster claw. Okay. So I'm going to keep the tape on our D-ring, that way it keeps it down during stitching on the final piece. I'm going to take off my tape that we don't need. And then we want to remember, this is the important part, we want to remember, this is how you'll know if you put the zipper on right, is when we open our zipper, you'll be able to open it because it didn't stitch across. So when we did this final box piece, that's where it started and ended and it didn't come across our zipper. And I'm going to open my zipper as far as I can, and I'm going to pop that just a little bit underneath my D-ring so it stays underneath there, like that. So it's open, so we'll be able to open our bag. And we'll take our final back piece and we're going to lay it face down on top and make sure on all sides. And if it's directional, you want to make sure it's going to be facing the right way. And I'm going to tape down at the bulky part to make sure it stays down. That'll be where the zipper and the D-ring is. I'm going to tape across the top. And then tape over at the opening on this side. And then I'm going to take a peek underneath. This is where I add my label in for some that want a label. And I put my label in on where the opening is so you can see it. And I just kind of lift up an eye as to where the stitch line is. Let's see if I can. So I kind of lifted up an eye a little bit where that stitch line is coming up. So and right below the zipper. And I taped it down so it stayed. And I'm going to put it back in the machine and we'll stitch out our last step. Everything's good. And we'll stitch the last tack down. All right, and we're all finished. We want to double check the back side. Everything's okay. It's tearaway, so we didn't have to get rid of the zipper part. So with tearaway, we'll be doing that at the cutting table, but everything else did good. Nothing got lifted up. And we're all ready to go back to the cutting table to show you our cutting out and turning it. Okay. We're going to remove it from the hoop, remove all our stabilizer, and we're going to cut and trim some of our threads. Okay. Now that we've trimmed all our threads and everything all around it, remove the stabilizer. Oh, one more little loose thread. I'm going to leave, I always leave this end. I never cut it off. I always leave it. So it's about 3/4, half an inch to 3/4. I'm gonna do the same here. I don't want to cut it really close at 1/4 inch. I'm gonna go ahead and only cut to about a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch. That way when it gets turned, this part here where it's sewn is not gonna come undone, or if it by chance does come undone, you have this extra here and it's not going to be really close and pull out. So it leaves a little extra. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut around our vinyl, and it'll be about 1/4 of an inch all around. And the corners we're going to cut at an angle to cut them a little bit closer for turning and poking out our corners. All our corners are cut, and the next thing we're going to do, everything's good, stitches are all still good. I'm going to singe this little one here. There we go. And the first thing we do when we go to turn it is to make sure our zipper's open all the way. It's going to be so much easier. So I know that we taped it down a little bit, so you want to reach in and get rid of that tape. Pull that tape out. There we go. And then we're going to take our zipper and you're going to try to push it open as far as we can. And that would be, you know, wedging it using the pull tab part and pushing that little tab there to get it to go. There we go. Got it to open. So with it open all the way, the best way to turn, this is pretty pliable, so it'll turn pretty easy. Some of the little bit stiffer vinyls, you may want to warm them up a little bit, in front of a heater, blow dryer to help warm it up a little bit. This one shall turn pretty easy, but the easy way, instead of trying to just take your bag and shoving it through the hole, not the easiest. If you start at your opening and take your corners, and if you push your corners out first at your opening, poke them out really good. You can use your chopstick too, or any, you know, if you have a turner, poker, chopstick, works the best. And then we take the other corner. This is a little bit trickier where the actual zipper pull is and our D-ring. So you want to pop that out as well. So if you get the top part and your corners popped out, and you start to roll the bag, if you have the top part rolled, the rest will just roll right out a lot easier. So you don't want to try to shove your bag through the hole, you want to roll your bag out. And then we're going to turn. We're going to push those little corners with our fingers as best we can. And that's another way that our corners are going to work out better, is if you roll the bag instead of trying to push the bag out. So I'm going to roll that corner with your fingers first, and then I'm going to take my little chopstick, and I have more of a blunt end instead of a really sharp end. You don't want too sharp of an end because you can poke it right through. So if it's a little blunt, would be better. And we're going to hold the bag and just go ahead and push our corners. And don't want to push really hard all at once. You're just going to work it, push, work it, and you work from the side. So you're pushing from here and out. So almost like you're rolling it. Instead of trying to shove all at once, you're going to roll the edges. We'll use this corner. Push. Make sure all our corners are out. I think we did pretty good. And then since it's not really sharp, you can also take it to help, and you run it along the edge kind of sharp. Kind of helps give it a little bit of a fold and a push. Same thing on the top. The top is always our hardest one. It just doesn't want to fold in. All right. There we go. It's got it all nice. Corners are nice and sharp. My pet peeve. Always have to have sharp corners. Want to make sure they're pushed out and nice and sharp. All right, and the zipper closes well. Our D-ring lobster claw is perfect. It's not going anywhere. It's in there. That's why I have this little silver part that I leave, and it's far enough away and it's tucked in there. This side has enough left in it so that it's not going to come out. Little tag is in there. So then I put a little zipper pull if you want. Little coin purse, you don't need to have one, or you can add one either way. This is how I would do it. Just add it there. So as it's hanging, hard to say. So as it's hanging from here, the zipper pull is keeping that zipper closed and hanging down. The zipper cannot open because there's no force to open it going this way. So as if the zipper was up here with the zipper pull, eventually, depending on how heavy it is, it could end up pulling your bag open. So that was my theory of why I have my zipper on this side of the bag. All right. So the next thing we can do is just press it, either, you know, underneath the heavy book. You can use a light, warm iron and a fabric over it, but you want to be really careful that you don't push too hard. Once you warm it up, you can always put it under a heavy book, and that'll help it hold and stay flat. So this is our cash card mini zipper pull, or zipper pouch, sorry. Cash card zipper pouch. And it does hold, why I've made it this size, it'll hold IDs, credit card, money, everything. The little 4x4 is kind of tough. You're always trying to get it in there and wedge it into the top lip. They always don't fit right. So that's why I designed this one this certain size that is just perfect for credit cards, gift cards, cash, anything you want to carry in here, and receipts. And it's perfect. So this is the regular size cash card, and this is the tall. So this is the difference between the tall and the standard. This one's not pressed. This one got a little pressed. This one hasn't been pressed yet. So these are our two sizes, the tall and the cash card regular, standard, horizontal. And here's a little side note with the cash card little zipper pouch. There's also designs that come with a design on the front of the pouch. So they're also in the same, it could be either in the horizontal or the tall. So in this case, when there is the design, when you place your bottom and top piece at the zipper and you tack it all down, then your design will come. And then after you stitch out your design on the front, then you're going to go ahead and add your D-ring or your lobster claw D-ring, and then your back piece. So they do come in 3 different ways: horizontal, the tall, or either one of them with a design on the front. So that was just a little side note, as if you, when you do get the design on the front, once you place your top and bottom piece at the zipper, then you'll be doing your design. So hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like. If you would like to see more videos like this, please subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Meet you at the cutting table.